Today we're going to dissect a mansion that has so many ghostly happenings, it will scare even the bravest explorer of the paranormal. Over the years, the number of ghostly sightings and activity has been enormous. Not only have visitors witnessed the ghosts of the original family, but also a murdered prostitute, ghostly dark figures, young children, and foul smells. And that is only scratching the surface. Now, due to how active this place is and the amount of people who have witnessed some serious shit, the mansion has obviously attracted a lot of paranormal groups. Now, these have included ghost hunters, ghost adventures, and my ghost story. The experiences that people visiting have described are as varied and numerous as the ghosts that inhabit the house. Here are just some of the things that have been reported. Now, people have heard unexplained voices, chanting, full body apparitions, furniture moving without any human interaction, the sound of footsteps walking on the stairs, as well as roaming the hallways. Also sightings of a Mattie Cornwell, who is apparently the nanny who keeps check on the other spirits and wards off any unwanted visitors. Foul stenches have been noticed filling the air, along with drastic changes in temperature. There's also been mention of slamming doors, screens flying off windows, and a vicious roar that almost sounds like a lion. Many believe that this is a scream of blind fury, or maybe even devastation, from the original owner, Sylvester Pierce, as he looks on at the current state of his dream home. Now, worse still is that some guests to this mansion have also been attacked, with one guest feeling a pressure that seemed to try to push her down some stairs, while others have felt hands physically pushing them, one of which was nearly pushed out of a third-floor window. Can you imagine? One paranormal expert is said to have believed that the mansion housed some of the most advanced entities they'd ever seen. Why, you might ask? Well, apparently, the ghosts of this mansion have been known to harness the electrical energy within the house and have then used it to power themselves to move furniture and impose their will physically on their surroundings. Scary as hell if you think about it, especially as the property was voted second most haunted home in Massachusetts and 9th most haunted home in the USA. So, how did this house come to be? Where did all the many ghosts come from? Well, that, my friends, is a story filled with sadness, loss, and much regret. In the 1880s, Sylvester Pierce, the proprietor of a prosperous business called S.K. Pierce & Sons Furniture Company, commissioned building of the 7,000 square foot, 10-bedroomed mansion, a task which took 100 men a year and a half to build. In its prime, you have to think of it this way, this mansion played host to many well-known guests, like former President Calvin Coolidge, actress Bette Davis, P.T. Barnum, and Norman Rockwell. It is also said to have been the meeting place for the Freemason Society. So, this home was used to witnessing success and power, roaming its halls and sleeping in its beds. In Sylvester's mind, this mansion was going to be a fresh start for him and his wife and son. Sadly though, disaster struck just weeks away from moving into their dream home. Susan, his wife, died suddenly and mysteriously by what was described as a bacterial illness. For 1 full year, Sylvester mourned the death of his wife before finally remarrying a woman 30 years his junior, named Ellen. Now, with his new wife, he had 2 more sons. In the year 1888, Pierce sadly died himself, leaving Ellen to look after the 3 boys. Now, when Ellen also passed away, arguments went on for years over not only control of the property, but also who would chair the business. Pierce's youngest son, Edward, took control of the house, but sadly they just didn't seem to go well for him. Not only did he lose his 2-year-old daughter named Rachel to, strangely enough, a bacterial infection, dare I say, like his father's first wife, Susan, but also the upkeep of the property was becoming too much of a financial burden as the Great Depression took its toll on the family business. So, reluctantly, Edward made the decision to turn the mansion from a family home into a boarding house. Disappointingly though, many of the types of people who resided here, and they had questionable natures, it seemed to become the normal for there to be not only prostitution going on inside the boarding house, but gambling, and plenty of drinking. So already you can see that the mansion had been witness to much sorrow, but also the darker side of life too, especially as tales of murder and death also stain this dwelling, with one prostitute being strangled by a customer, reportedly named David, in the infamous Red Bedroom, which can be found on the second floor. There is also the tale of a Finnish immigrant named Aino Saari, aged 49, who in 1963 was burned to death in his bed in the master bedroom. Maybe he was smoking in bed, maybe not. Some have come to believe that it may have been caused by spontaneous combustion, as there was hardly any other damage to the rest of the room. To this day, visitors still report a brief smell in the air of burning when entering. Now, another sad tale is that of a young boy who is believed to have drowned in the basement. Unfortunately, not much else is known about the young lad. Finally, in 1965, Edward had to sign over the ownership of the mansion to a friend. The pressure and stress of trying to stay afloat had just become too much for him. It must have been devastating too, as this is the first time the mansion had been owned by someone outside of the family. Now, more recent owners named Edwin Gonzalez and Lillian Otero owned the property from 2008 to 2015. The couple, though, only lived at the house for 2 years, from 2009 to 2011. It seems they couldn't take it anymore and had no choice but to move out. During this period, they encountered numerous spirits. Worth noting is on many occasions, neighbours witnessed a young boy with blonde hair running back and forth between the windows of the property. Disturbing when you think that the owners didn't have children of their own, and so no explanation could be found as to who the child was, except for being a ghost. Also, while living at the mansion, there was a report of a dark-haired woman who creepily smiles at you. It is thought that she was trying to possess Lillian. So, taking all these matters into account, no wonder they felt they had no choice but to run like hell from that place. I know I would. Now, in 2015, Dark Carnival bought the property with hopes to renovate it and open it to the public for overnight rentals and ghost tours. And I can imagine that this will be a very popular paranormal experience, especially around Halloween, as during this period of time, they will also be doing Halloween-themed experiences. This will be weekends only and in the month of October. It is reported that there will be trained actors, which I've got to be honest, I think sounds absolutely amazing, along with animations and other fun stuff. This will be in the basement only and will not be in other parts of the house. And it's been described as not for the faint of heart.